All right, recording is started. Would anyone like to recount just how much bad things happened last session? Guile, would you like to recount it? I'm just teasing. It actually looks pretty good. No one got the reference?
I get the reference.
Okay.
I'm thinking Tice might not.
Street Fighter, my man.
Oh, I hadn't even seen him. So
Sonic Boom. Yeah, Sonic Boom.
I don't know. I'm getting more Bart Simpson vibes. A broom, just an average yellow broom.
No, he's doing his best to look like the Asimar character that he's playing. He's perpetually Super Saiyan.
Nice.
Well, I was kidding about him needing to be the one who tells, and anybody can retell the previous session. It was disastrous, after all.
I know we let a bomb go off.
Yeah, we did.
I spent most of the session foreshadowing that bomb, too.
We went to the Star Moot. We got threatened by Imperials. We almost fought them, but we didn't, and they walked away. And we learned that one chick is either doesn't feel pain or just incredibly strong, and the other guy is like hot molten metal hot. Then we traded amongst ourselves for a little while, and then there was I don't know, an assassination attempt or an IED bottle that was in the middle of the table that we all just took cover from and got a lot of people murderized.
You guys totally delivered that bottle, too.
Oh, was it in the food? Oh, yeah, I forgot. And then there was like a food carriage fight where bandits got murderized and a whole bunch of chaos happened.
I'd describe that as accurate.
Yeah, sadly, a lot of the dirty thefts became dusty thefts.
Yeah, there was a lot of death up there on the plateau.
Meh, happens sometimes.
You lost a lot of dudes. Like, you and the wizard survived.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that, like, we created a cave, like a way out through the back, but then it was like, nope, you and one other guy. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you did not describe to me a grand cave that was sinking it. You described, I'm sinking myself. It was a very selfish narration, and I decided to interpret it as such.
Yeah.
You're not alone, though. Even the guys who tried teleporting out lost huge numbers of people who didn't quite teleport fast enough. The Dirtithef suffered a near total loss. And unlike some of your places, their society has no walls to defend it. It's not hidden in the least. They're suffering the worst out of all of the nations. But those of you who are left have gathered. And you have gathered in gathered in the halls of Troy's people.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah, you totally invited them. And so your kings may or may not be there. That's up to them. We'll look at what they're doing later. But for certain, each of these nations has sent a hero. And that hero is accompanied by their trusted lieutenant, their squire, and they are ready to go. Each for their own reasons, of course. Obviously, the alchemist is is the failed result of the mage trying to summon an earth elemental. So the mage still considers the alchemist his minion to send forth. Tice, your character, I presume that given that the Imperials you were working for just tried to kill you with an incendiary device, and that you were just barely rescued by some druids that took pity on you, that you're perhaps a little bit more amenable to helping these guys.
Yeah, it sounds like my internship got cut off a little early.
Yeah, you suspect they may have canceled that contract. Or found a loophole where they're not required to keep you alive. But the dwarves have some useful intelligence. Now, the dwarves do not want to go back to their home city, but they are willing to send one very brave soul to guide you and show you the way, who I'm hoping Ed will play as, since his character is otherwise indisposed, and he did not prepare character sheets for Dirty Theft heroes. So Ed, if you can hear me, you may choose some manner of dwarf from among general dwarfdom to be the guide. And they'll be taking you down to what is referred to within the Empire as City Number 6.
Okay. Is this a local dwarf or a planar dwarf or?
Local, from a refugee from City 6 who really doesn't want to go back, but the Empire has now declared war on the place you've taken refuge. And so sending a strike force in to try and shut down their access to demonic assistance is probably the only way to make this war winnable.
Okay. So I guess I'm there. I'm a dwarf. I have a big bright red beard, and a mohawk.
Oh yeah, Slayers. Sorry, I'm getting a Warhammer fantasy battle image there, which is awesome. So the city is accessible through the tunnel that you dug to escape the city. That tunnel is itself hidden by an ancient gnomish illusion from before the gnomes were wiped out. It's a long tunnel, but it's a downward slope, and if you guys are able to construct vehicles that roll, such as oxen carts minus the oxen, you could just totally roll your way down there. But such a vehicle, if it falls apart on this multiple miles descent, it could run into some trouble. The descent is at about a 20-degree angle.
Jeez.
So I'll guide you down here, laddies. I'm no engineer though, so if you're gonna roll down there, then you're gonna have to build your own wheels.
Are there like a bunch of dwarves? Like, we're still in the dwarven area, right?
Yes. You're also still in Loam Firma, which has renowned engineers that may be on par with the dwarves themselves.
And you said that our kings either did or did not come, depending on what we...
Yeah, it's up to you guys. They're not necessarily needed here, but this is one of the few safe places. It's the only city where the army hasn't figured out where the front door is yet to lay siege.
Yeah, my king is not here. He'd be back home.
Well, I'll say my king is here. One, I know my people are really good at not being found, so it's not like they really need me there anyway. And two, we didn't completely finish off the mage guy thing, so character sheet.
If you're looking for an engineer, I guess I could go find someone for you. I could go looking through my dwarven contacts, I suppose. You want a good City 6 engineer. City 5 engineers, they're good engineers. Just mushroom problems, you know.
Actually,
you don't want City 2. City 2 is just a shithole.
Actually, it's an interesting point of note on the history of City 6. It was originally called City 3. Actually, it originally had a proper dwarven name that has since been stricken from all records, though many dwarves speak it in secret in private meetings. But the name was changed from City 3 to City 4 when another overworld city was conquered because the overworlders said that dwarves can't have city names that are of a lower order than the overworlders. And so its name has been changed incrementally to 4 and then 5 and then 6 as other overworld cities were conquered. There are an additional 3 cities that are underground as well, cities 7, 8, and 9. Again, not necessarily their original numerical designations.
Gotta be careful.
Well, I'm pretty good at handling crowds, so let me see how good I am at getting dwarves to work. And I'm gonna find a literal soapbox or something that looks like it, and stand on it and just be like, "Dwarves, you must help us build a minecart so we may descend."
You don't need to roll for that. They're totally willing to help.
Oh, okay, cool.
They are terrified of being part of the Empire again.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell them to become a part of the Empire if they don't help us.
All you 7s, lay off the mushrooms. Till after the cart's built. Don't want square wheels, whatever the weird crap you're thinking of.
Loam Firma, your engineers may also contribute to the construction of the cart. Of course, everybody will be contributing dice. Enough successes may get you to the bottom. And whatever result is waiting at the bottom. Failure, of course, will mean things like the wheels come apart halfway down or something, which could damage you at those speeds. So maybe you're sending the interns first? I don't know.
Would I be able to use a skill to help?
Yes.
Could I somehow inspire their greatest engineers with social agitator?
Social agitator is a way of getting people to do things they didn't previously want to do, but you could simply make a leadership role.
Man, that's not that great.
I know, you're looking for a reason to use social agitator.
Well, it could work. I mean, we're talking about a group here.
Well, you see, we need to form. Gets a proper.
So it has a USB inside and 2 USB on the front. So
we need to get the proper coordination. We need to make sure the ship is set so we can set sail into the underground. We need the pulleys. We need this. We also need the people that know how to do hammers and nails. we need to get this part done. We need to make sure it looks fabulous for us to get our entrance in. For we need to, not only do we need to get in there perfectly, we need to get in there with style.
This is the undead pirate captain, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'll be spending some things to use the stand as one. Together we stand.
Ah, okay, nice.
I'll spend my 5 endurance to do it.
I'm going to pull up Together We Stand here and read it real quick.
The order will be to
okay.
Build this magnificent underground ship and to enter with style.
All right, so any support or assistance is considered collaboration. So even if your support is just morale boosting, you'll be adding your successes.
Would I be able to use perception and crime to see if like these dwarves are hiding any of their like best equipment or parts that they want to save for like some other purpose and use them on the cart?
That's an excellent idea. Go ahead and make that roll, and we'll add those successes to what everybody else puts together. That's actually your roll there? Or is that just testing to see if the bot was alive? Oh, okay, there we go.
No, yeah, the other one was.
It was like threshold 10? Hold on a second.
All those dice, and I only got 4.
I mean, you would have got 1 if you had threshold 10, so that's pretty.
Yeah, so that's 4 successes added in. You can narrate how you found some parts there.
I kind of just like wander into like people's shops and things, and like I know where the good stuff is hidden, so I just kind of like open drawers and then feel underneath for like levers, and then like secret drawers open up. I'm like, hey, you could use these parts. Don't use those crap basic ones. Use these parts. And they're like, oh okay.
All right. Troy, if you want to, you can roll as your city for constructing vehicles.
Yeah, I figured I would be rolling as a city and having the king delegate around the dwarves and the other people and getting everyone coordinated and collaborating. So I'm assuming the inventor could actually help in this scenario, but he's not really that style.
Tice activated an ability that means that everybody that helps out, and even in the slightest, adds successes from their roll instead of pips. So, yeah, you can kind of go nuts right now off of his, off of the leadership of this crazy undead pirate that's joining the party.
Wait, how does that work?
He has a leadership ability that causes assistance that normally would generate pips to generate successes instead.
I see.
Even assistance that would generate bonus dice for you generates just raw successes. It's a very, very, very powerful ability.
I have one thing. I'm going to be using leadership and focus, but I'm going to be taking a threshold penalty because this is everyone here is living, right?
Yes.
Can I use my sword, my cutlass of diplomacy to piratey way of enticing them?
Well, I'm going to rule here that your using your ability is what you're doing for this contribution. Um, that would be incredibly broken if you could give an inspiring speech and then give an inspiring speech about your inspiring speech that was somehow even more inspirational.
Yeah. Remember that speech I said 2 minutes ago?
See, Felwyn, did you or your apprentice have anything you wanted to contribute?
Yeah, despite the fact that we seem to have almost a surplus of leadership here, I kind of want to pitch in by kind of rallying people together and giving them a pep talk and just saying, these people at the Star Moot, they tried to kill your leader. They tried to kill all of our leaders. They've declared war on all of us, and with the carts that you build us, you're going to deliver us straight to them so that we can exact vengeance upon them. So what you're doing here is a noble thing that will serve not just your city-state, but all the city-states around us. And, you are vital to the cause.
This is a great example of something that normally would add pips, but it does not. It now adds dice.
So those conversations that are adding pips, like if we're doing rolls, we should have added the pips from like our like item-based things.
Yes, items still add pips. Normally,
Yeah, so I forgot to add mine on. So that's 2 more on mine, so 7 total.
If my king
7 plus the 4
came
that
from
you generated.
if my king came from like my village and stuff, I could say that like he brought the hyena pack, right?
Oh,
I mean, it's essentially his.
He certainly brought his own personal hyena, and your wizard can have a hyena, and so can your alchemist, if you want them to.
Yeah. I don't know how the alchemist would have one, but okay.
Well, I mean, he came from that village.
Yeah,
and
he technically did.
He might be able to brew tasty treats, or the hyena might actually be a bunny rabbit that transmuted accidentally. You never know.
It was pretty good. Pretty good chance that happened.
Okay, so let's see. Did you roll for your? Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so it's 17 successes. Very nice.
Jeez. How many?
I think we're actually at 19.
You you're 19.
Well, I forgot to add pips, so I'm adding my 4 and 3 would have both gone up to.
That's 7. So you said 7 successes plus max is 4, which is 11 plus 6 is 17.
How many did we need total?
Oh, 6. I see. My bad. So we're at 7.
I will not tell you until you are past the point of no return.
Oh, we just obliterate it.
Only the dwarves know how far it goes, but they can tell you, but it's just a number. It doesn't make sense in your head. But the wheels on the cart go round and round. Alright, and so you guys load it up.
Is anybody a One Piece fan by any chance?
Believe it.
Well, that's Naruto, but yeah. I like to imagine that, like, Frankie, their shipwright, like the crazy mech dude, with like 17 successes, just like takes some wood and like a hammer and just turns around and it's just like a chrome like mine cart with like spikes on the front.
Yeah, because it was my leadership that like helped put things together. But like, so somehow it was supposed to be a cart, but it's sort of like a pirate ship on wheels.
All right, and so you guys pile in. Max, your leader is staying behind. It's going to be his champion that goes out, as he definitely needs to. Yeah, sorry. He has a people
his
he's
thing's
responsible
not
for.
completed. my thingy's not completed for him.
Well, hurry up and complete it.
I don't know how. I just spend the
spend
90?
your experience
All right.
points. Make sure you give yourself some potential so you can cast spells.
All right, I don't know how much to give, but okay.
As you put potential in, watch how your stamina goes up. You'll be quite pleased.
Oh, okay, can't go that high.
Yeah, it gets expensive fast.
Jeez.
Yeah, that 25 points to go from 4 to 5 is a real kick in the nuts.
Yeah.
I've never gone to 6, but yeah.
But for somebody who's highly specialized, that's a good place to have it at, Max. And then just finish out your heritage traits and maybe get a method in Earth Mastery. Seems reasonable, right?
Yeah. Look at that. That'll be like the last thing I think I have points on, right? Because that's going to be 10 experience.
Or yeah, I mean, or you can spend those 15 giving yourself more skills, or just whatever you want to do.
Yeah, this one makes sense. And you said those other 2 skills that the king has will help this guy, right?
They would if he took them, but you're out of experience points.
No, not the skills. I mean the traits. Stable, sturdy, active, those ones.
I mean, I'm looking at your character sheet, and yeah, I mean, endurance will help you. Your composure is pretty lacking, but you don't have a really good mental ability to use to boost it. So, yeah. Active will make you have lots of extra endurance points. Stable doesn't really seem to get you anything, but the flip side of that is that if you don't go stable, you only have 4 composure points. So this guy can be mentally attacked very easily. But maybe that's what you wanted. You're kind of going for a low IQ mage.
Kind of.
It's like he's got rocks for brains.
Yeah. Do the math.
All right. So, I mean, straight with you guys. I had made this a 20 success challenge because I didn't expect you guys to even come close to succeeding. I expected it mostly to be a measure of how much further you had to go after you crashed. But you nearly made it to the end. So really all that's there is for you guys to figure out some way to safely come to a halt when the wheels fall off. And then you'll be good to go. The wheels do eventually overheat, but you're like 90% of the way through the trip when the overheating of the wheels basically just melts straight through the axles. The axles fall off, banging on the ground behind as the heavy weight turns into more like a sled shooting down. The wheels roll right on past you, yeah. Eventually, a couple minutes later, you hear them smacking into a wall at the bottom. But your sled is now throwing up sparks and in dangerous risk of tipping.
Aye, good dwarven construction. Puts air on your chest.
And we're all on this one sled together, right?
There's 9 of you on the sled, yes. 4 champions, 4 squires, and a dwarf with a red beard and mohawk.
And a hyena.
I put my helmet on, and my helmet looks like a hammer.
Does
You
your
think
helmet have
that
a
it might
slit in the top
actually-
for your mohawk?
It has a slit in the top for my mohawk, and it's the face, the entire face plate. When I put it down, looks like the head of a hammer. You think that it may actually be a hammer, like it's designed for head hammering people?
Yeah. Jacques is like quickly running a bit, and he you see him grab a piece of metal and some rope. He's going to tie one to one end, and he's going to wrap around a little bit to the back end. And he's going to be like, "All right, laddies, all right, you'll better hold on to your butts." As he sort of holds on with his legs, as he tosses the piece of the metal onto the ground, and you see it dingle, catch as the rope taunts as he's holding with both of his arms, just using his undeadly vigor to hold on for dear life.
All right, cool. This is a Vigor plus Athletics check. Anybody who wants to help you can. Anyone with supernatural abilities can attempt to use those in place of actual physical force.
Yeah, I'll help by way of magic.
As will I.
Healing magic may not be a good thing to use on the undead, but on anybody mortal who is grabbing the rope, you can boost their muscles, certainly. Or you may have other ideas. Max, of course, you are surrounded by stone on all sides. You have all the Play-Doh you need.
Yeah, I want to, the ground that the cart and the tracks and they're on, causing all the friction and everything, I want to, soften that so that the tracks and everything is, eventually, buries into the ground slowly instead of just, careening down the tracks like it's doing now.
Transmit stone to earth.
Yeah.
All right, so this is going to be a fairly large area of effect. Local, not long range. It is a transmutation that is not particularly harmful or dangerous. So it's not really creating any crazy effects. I feel like this is probably basically like a second circle.
I have no idea how to roll for that.
Yeah. So basically you're going to roll your potential. You need 2 successes. If you get less than 2 successes, you are going to hurt yourself with the exertion. If you get more, then you will successfully have turned the ground from hard stone into soft dirt.
What's the T since I'm using Earth and I have Earth Mastery?
Yes, so your threshold will be 5 and up.
If I want to basically assist him by just channeling raw nature magic into him, would I do that now or would I do that after we see the result?
So if you're aware that he's channeling nature magic, which he does not appear to be doing, you could do that. It appears he's channeling arcane elemental energies.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's way outside my wheelhouse. I'll do my own thing.
I got 3.
He's creating dirt, which is fertile ground for nature magic to take place in, but he himself is not utilizing nature magic.
As I'm looking at the tracks and the rocks and stuff that it's attached to, I'm just like, no more rock, only dirt.
Tice, this has greatly enhanced the effectiveness of your anchor, which is no longer coming to a sudden standstill, but is instead now dragging along dirt, which means it's not ripping your arms off, and is in fact going to make your roll way, way easier.
Yeah, I'd like to, since there's all this dirt here now, I'd like to use nature magic, just kind of throw up some vines from the dirt to try to, not jerk the sled to a sudden stop, just kind of slow its speed gradually.
Very Spider-Man. I like it.
I mean, he's undead, right? So it's like, even if it did rip his arms off, wouldn't be that big of a deal. You just have to go find him.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a bit of a hike to climb back up and get them wherever they got torn off
yeah.
at. And the Necromancer isn't around to, like, make him some new ones out of a fresh corpse. All right. Let's see. Tice, did you already make your roll? I forgot to check. Yes, you did. Oh, wait, did you?
Yeah, I did. I used vigor and athletics.
Ah, there it is. God damn, he's got good vigor and athletics. I guess he is a undead pirate. That makes sense. All right. So, Troy, it actually seems like the situation is well in hand, but you do have characters here that can attempt to help.
I mean, if we're good, I'm just sitting.
It's not exactly a problem you can solve by shooting at it with a bow.
I was trying to think of so many different scenarios. Like, I was trying to figure out how to Spider-Man it and get, like, nets all over the walls, and grab stuff, but it just seemed like things would break along the way. Basically, I was just helping pull the rope at that point, because I could do decent at that, but if I need to roll, I can. If not, I don't need to.
I'm gonna put the faceplate down on my helmet and wedge my face in between the wheel and the brake to try and slow it.
Well, the wheels have fallen off, so the brakes are probably not necessarily effective, but who knows?
All right, I'm gonna get on the front and
put your face in the way of the oncoming wall.
Put my face on the ground and try and slow.
Right on. You plow some more earth up. You can go ahead and make a vigor plus athletics roll.
Dwarves are very hardy.
I'll just assume I've got like 6 of those.
If we were still playing as a city, I'd call this an agriculture roll. You're literally plowing the dirt. All right. You see a door fast approaching. It's the conclusion of the hallway. The door was made of stone and sealed to prevent Imperials from following through into this. The vehicle comes to a halt with the head of your hammer mere inches from the door. Out of pure sense of satisfaction, you give it a quick smack.
Straight up.
While the ringing echoes through your skull, it does not echo through the hall, as the door is of dwarven make, and it remains completely silent. The ruins of the wheels are down here as well. And up above you hear the sliding of what was once the axle, just kind of tumbling through the dirt.
Mon ami, who knew that being a expert shipman I am would be good underground, eh?
That wasn't so different from sailing once the wheels came off, I guess.
A moment later, the axle, bounding end over end, sails past you all and strikes the door in precisely the right place to cause it to slowly swing open.
I spit out a bunch of dirt and grit and take my faceplate up and say, "That was a good ride."
You know this place, Ed. This is where you guys first established your escape route. It took a lot of doing to get it ready, and then eventually you gathered up the work crew to start making the tunnel. And because you guys would no longer be reporting for your shifts, you had to have other people in the village smuggle you food, often in exchange for either themselves or a relative getting passage up your escape tunnel.
Cool.
The tunnel itself is concealed by an ancient illusion created by gnomes in centuries past, before the Empire purged them from the underground. The gnome genocide still kind of stings in the memory of the dwarves, as they were good and noble people. Not true smiths as you guys were, but it's not nice to speak ill of the dead, and so many of their faults are forgotten, and they're sort of honored as a great and ancient people, now long lost to the world.
Yeah, especially since sometimes we can talk back and probably make fun of you even more than you can of us. So what is the plan, mon chéri?
Once you step loose from the illusion, you'll be in an area of the Warrens that has long since had all valuable metals dug out, but occasional quarrying does happen in this area. The city itself is built on what was once a rich mine, long since mined dry, but the city's infrastructure created an excellent place for smelting and smithing. And so much of the city is a trade center where ores shipped in from other underground cities and underground mining expeditions are brought here for processing. Most of the workers here are working under debt from gambling debts, as any part of the city that is not dedicated to the squalid slum housing or the smithies themselves is casino. And all the casinos are rigged. Also, it is forbidden for a dwarf to run a casino. They are permitted to be guests, but the casinos are run exclusively by humans from the Empire above. Though some dwarves are, if they show exceptional, shall we say, honesty, which is not hard for a dwarf, but I do mean exceptional honesty, like turning over their fellow dwarves to the Empire for slight misdeeds and such. These dwarves are sometimes rewarded with positions as waiters, waitresses within the casinos. But they don't get to deal cards, and they don't get to run the tables. And they never get management positions. Travel from this city to other cities is by road. These are well-built dwarven roads, of course. However, these roads are heavily patrolled by human guard from the Empire, and papers are necessary to get through unharassed. This is, however, originally City 3, meaning that it has a very direct route to the imperial capital, which is why it was conquered so early in the formation of the Empire. If one could get papers from a government office, one could travel unharassed directly up the road to the imperial capital. On the other hand, there's also options for disguising yourself if you can capture imperial uniforms, and there's the option of violence. Stealth might be possible, but it would be a very slow, indirect route, and might actually involve requiring you to do a bit of mining to create some tunnels, as there's not a lot of direct interaction between the cities. Most of the tunnels that were dug chasing ores, and were stopped when the ores ran dry. This really isn't an Underdark. It's pretty much all the tunnels were crafted by dwarven hands. There's very little in the way of natural caves down here.
So you're saying that someone of the Imperial could potentially get papers, or have some idea of making papers?
Indeed, skilled scholars and accountants might be able to access an Imperial office and either acquire through trickery, lies, or forgeries accurate papers that could transport the rest of the people. A squad of 9 badasses busting their way through might be a bit conspicuous, however.
Yeah.
As you discuss this, in the distance, those with exceptionally keen hearing, of which I'm certain Ed is one, but I don't know about the rest of you, you will hear a rhythmic hammering as of a quarrying action in effect. But it's coming from multiple directions.
Can I
Both of mine have.
investigate and see where it's coming from?
Can I just tell them where it's coming from?
Yes,
Well,
from the left of you and the right of you.
Yeah, I tell them that and give them rough distances if I can. Need to learn to hear through your bones, laddie.
As you guys compare notes about the distances you're hearing it from, because I know the Loam Firma guys also have that kind of ability, you start to realize that they are tunneling in much the same way as this tunnel was made, and at the same upward angle.
Yeah, based on if we have a good idea of where they're tunneling from and what the trajectory is, I guess specifically Mara would use her enchanted compass to try to kind of triangulate things out and see if they're heading towards Korath and Danwin.
Okay, go ahead and make an investigation plus cunning roll. You can get help from the dwarves, who can give you better intel.
I mean, it might be. What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to. I have a compass that points back to Danwin. I'm trying to figure out if, like, based on that, if I can get a sense of where the tunnels are going relative to Danwin, either directly there or to a relatively nearby area that I could kind of understand where that was.
If you get 2 successes,
Gotcha.
you'll get a simple yes/no answer. If you get 5 successes, I will tell you exactly where all of the tunnels are going.
You said this sounds roughly the same as it was before, like the tunnel we just took down, basically.
Yeah,
It sounds like the same thing we said the last time.
Tunnels are being built at the same inclination. Yeah,
And rapidly.
not as rapidly. These are slower built, but they do seem to be making progress.
Well, if it's dwarves, we may want to stop them. They could be useful down here.
All right, I got 4 successes. If anyone wants to contribute to the tune of 4 pips, we can get the 5th one.
Yeah, I mean, I can sense, like, through the earth, like, what direction, the vibrations of their stuff is coming from.
Okay, make an investigation plus perception roll, and you may use your Earth Mastery to adjust the threshold.
Yay.
You need 4 successes to tip things over in balance of total success here.
Oh, it's not going to be a lot of dice, so I mean, let's hope for the best. I got 7 successes.
Well, all right. Looks like we're gonna know.
I basically just sent sonic waves through 10 miles of Earth. I know what's going on in the area.
He doesn't do a lot, but the couple things he does really well. Okay, yeah, so there is a tunnel headed towards Denwin. There is a tunnel headed towards Loam Firma. There's a tunnel headed towards the Strange Tree. There's a tunnel headed towards Runeterra. And there's a tunnel headed generally towards the wastes, though they're not headed towards where the actual hut is.
They're just going to come up
They're
and
gonna
be
come
like,
up
well,
somewhere
we
in the
tried.
wastes, and they'll have a staging point.
Yeah.
There's tunnels aimed at each of the cities, basically, as best they can.
Okay. Yeah. And based on that pretty killer insight that we just got from Max, yeah, Mira's just gonna write in her tome, basically what they just learned. That they're tunneling up towards all the cities except for the Wandering Rut. They're just kind of tunneling generally into the wastes there. And I don't think I even know where the Wandering Rut is. So I'll say they're heading towards the wastes. Maybe that is where the Wandering Rut is. Maybe it's not.
Like, honestly, even though the king left, he's gonna have to wander a little bit to find it. That's how crazy their movements are.
There was a scrap of enchanted paper that the king of Danoan gave you before you left. Specifically gave to her as the scholar because she's reporting to him, so he has a way to report back to her. Basically, he tore a page out of his own report book.
That's a One Piece thing. What is it called? Damn.
If the person is able to sense the ground and stuff, could they tell if it was since usually people are walking in tunnels and stuff, they could tell if it's heavy feet or lighter feet, or is that something that's unable to understand?
That's too detailed for them to figure out, but they can tell the rough speed at which they're progressing. They're not progressing at what you would call dwarves in a hurry speed. So you get, after writing that down, there is a bit of a pause. Certainly he's not looking at the page with every moment, but eventually he sees it and he sends a response instructing you to sabotage their tunneling efforts at all costs.
All right, yeah, I'll relay that message. I'll say, what are the chances we can cave in those tunnels?
Highly likely.
At this point, your best bet is to split the party. You have a group that is very, very good at destruction, and a group that's very, very good at paperwork. And there are two tasks in front of you.
Yes. Lyle just pulls that forward, yes, indeed, we need to figure. As I have been in some of these the Empire areas, I know which quotes and which legislatures you need to get into certain cities, the right channels you need, etc., and which potential signatures you need to forge. I myself do not want to get dirt on my clothes, so I would prefer to not be collapsing tunnels. As a pirate guy just slaps on his shoulder. Oh, it is good for you, little guy. Makes you really feel alive.
Basically, if you were to look at my Earth Mage guy, think Dalcine, but instead of skulls for a necklace, he's just got really huge rocks laced through, or what could be dirt. Who knows? He hears him say that he doesn't want to get dirt on his clothes and is very confused by that statement. Half his clothes are dirt.
I'm getting all the character sheets into position on my screen here. Alright, so I'm going to organize, alright, party 1, party 2, got it. Alright, so the alchemist and the scholars are going to head into the city, while the heroes stay behind to try to collapse tunnels on these Imperial guys and their dwarves, right?
Wait, am I using the mage and the alchemist?
Both of them are present, yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, one is in party 1, one is in party 2.
So the real question is, which party does the dwarf want to go with?
I'm gonna just follow a random group that looks like they're not trying to sneak around.
So that sounds like the champions.
Yeah, they
Or
seem-
maybe I'll follow the group that looks like they're trying to sneak around, because I don't. Well, I'll go with the group that doesn't looks like they're not trying to sneak.
Yeah, you don't want to get caught. You abandon your post and have debts. Getting caught by the authorities would be bad. All right, so you'll head with the champions, and the squires will proceed on their stealth mission. Squires, you emerge from the illusion. The tunnels are pitch black, but you guys presumably brought torches.
Wait, so the alchemist and the earth guy aren't going with a destruction group? The alchemist is going with stealthy people?
Well, it's up to the earth guy if he really wants to send him away, but the alchemist is not the most reliable person for demolition. He can cause demolition, but
Yeah.
not on purpose.
He's not going to be super stealthy either. Oh, and did you
He's
say we went
demonstrated
through
the ability to make the party invisible.
You said we went through an illusion?
Yes, the entrance to your tunnel is hidden by a gnomish illusion that the dwarves found.
Does that trigger his whatever you call it? Randomizer?
No, it's not a portal.
Oh, okay.
It's just basically it's a magical hologram that looks like a giant rock. And you guys, they built the entrance to their escape tunnel inside it so that nobody outside it would be able to find it. A path winds through the tunnel. Occasional dead ends from various forks in it confuse you, but eventually you find your way out through the tunnels, and you see before you a large bridge crossing over an artificial chasm that was clearly dug there. Below it you see molten fires and just molten metal flowing through channels from elsewhere across little bridges. But the main bridge that you're crossing, which is made of a sort of steel grates, you can see straight through them, and they bounce a little bit as you walk, which is slightly disconcerting. But on the other side of it is lights and sound and booming activity, and the calls of people to come and try their luck. Welcome to City 6. How are you guys entering the city? You just strutting straight in? Are you trying to keep the shadows? What's your plan? Bearing in mind that all of you are human.
Yeah, my training basically requires that I not be strutting anywhere. I'm sticking to pretty closely to the shadows. You know, I know that in any physical confrontation, I'm in rough shape, so I'm kind of trying to avoid the spotlight.
Okay. Anybody else?
I asked the party, do you think it would be better if we had a distraction for something that was more needed to be more noticeable than us, or do you think I should try to conceal myself?
Can we assess the? Are we able to see into the area we're walking into before we do, or is this kind of
Yes,
like figuring out what we're doing as?
No, it's filled with lights, so you can see it before you cross the bridge. It's a city of lights and sound. You hear music playing. the people are standing in front of brightly lit buildings calling out for others to come in and try their luck. You do see quite a few humans as sort of the proprietors and call persons at these establishments. But most of the population wandering the streets are dwarves. And most of them seem to be moving with a purpose. There's not a lot of people just kind of hanging out. Most people are either headed towards buildings or away from buildings.
What is it? What do they use for, like, water? Is there like an open irrigation thing here? Is it pipe?
You do see a lot of pipes. You don't see a lot of water.
I'm gonna try to roll a potion into like a near, like, establishment with a large amount of people inside of it, and I'm gonna try to transmute them into like a random different species, or as many of them that I can happen to get, to cause a distraction so that no one's caring about us.
Is this one of your special potions? Or are you going to try and brew something? Like, is this something from your sack?
Yes. I'm assuming that we've had like downtime in between when they were working on the thingamajig, so I have my stuff again. What about health? Is that fixed from last time?
Yes. So, character health has been rested up since the incident. You guys can remove all taxes.
I have reason to.
Yeah, remove all taxes on your characters, but it may be quite some time before that happens again.
If I have reason to beat on you again, I don't know. You are doing crazy stuff right now.
I usually do crazy stuff.
Is there a common? Is there like an imperial garb, basically? Are they all in the same clothing, or is there somewhat of a variety for the human?
There's a lot of variety for the humans. There are people that do look like guards, and they do seem to have a uniform, but they are not. They're not the people that are like calling people into the establishments. Those people seem to be private proprietors running their own independent businesses, but they are all universally human. And all of their clients appear to be dwarves. There don't appear to be any humans gambling.
Gotcha.
It's weird. If you hadn't known about the oppression of the dwarves by the humans, you would think that the humans were servants and the dwarves were on vacation. That this was a dwarves-only resort where humans were serving them. But from what you've been told, quite the opposite is the truth. That these dwarves are being kept in debt by these establishments, and to work off their debt, they are forced to labor in the mines and the smelters.
Man, this sounds too much like real life.
Do I need to roll anything for race change, people AoE?
Yeah. So you're trying to do this without yourself being noticed, right? So this is going to be stealth plus agility.
Well, this is going to be terrible then. Let's see. Stealth still counts as 1, even if it's 0, right?
No.
No.
Okay.
But your agility will not be a 0. So you still get something.
Yeah. Turns out I got nothing. I mean, if I got nothing and I'm going to be noticed, obviously, I mean, I'm fine being a part of it. Like, that works too.
Oh yeah, no, that's totally what happens. So you throw it, and you're immediately noticed as somebody throwing a bottle.
Okay.
Those of you hiding in the shadows, you see him throw the bottle, and you see a guard immediately turn in and notice him, and the proprietor of the establishment also notices him. And they begin shouting at him, "Let's see what your bottle does."
It causes a planescape. No, what's it called?
A cataclysmic event. Oh, Jesus! This is when Dave finds out that on his list is like that kind of role playing. He has to like try to make something up. Oh.
Oh, it causes confusion and an area effect.
Woo! As intended.
Oh, let's see. Their behavior is randomized. Result. The creature uses all of its movement to move in a random direction. To determine this direction, roll a d8 and assign a direction to each die face. I'm not going to bother doing that. That's too much detail, but suffice to say, everyone that was caught in the area of effect of it just picks a direction and runs full sprint until they crash headfirst into a wall.
Or each other.
Or the gambling tables, they trip over the bar. Quite a lot of havoc ensues. It seems, though, that the proprietor and the guard have assumed that you're just an angry patron who threw a bottle of beer in. And so they arrest you for vandalism.
Oh, spectacular.
And drunken and disorderly conduct.
Are they not busy running in a random direction, though?
They are not. They are outside the establishment.
Okay.
He did successfully create a distraction. His being arrested is quite a distraction. So the rest of you guys can do whatever stuff you want to do with the distraction that he's created. I don't know what your ultimate game plan was with that, but very random.
Well,
Congratulations.
It worked. Nobody's paying attention to those guys walking around now.
Correct.
My intention is to forge the shit out of some documents.
yeah, we're gonna. I know some things. You just have to walk like you have a purpose and not just you're confused. Just follow me, as he just like sort of just promptly just starts stepping forward and just like has like off to the side, like not like right into the group, but just like nod heads like to anyone that like looks at him, just like it's a typical day.
All right. Everybody's going to basically hide in plain sight by looking like you belong. Make a propriety plus empathy check. It's a low bar to entry, though. Not a very difficult one.
Even me.
Oh no, you're being arrested. Anyone who wants to try and intervene on his arrest may attempt to do so as well.
What is the guard situation visible?
It looks like it's just a two guards, basically a partner of, a patrol partnership. They've come over. They are armed, but they're not like, it's not like a military force for these guys. They're just sort of beat patrol. And of course the proprietor, who is exclaiming that this man is vandalizing his fine establishment. And shame on you, behaving in such a poor manner here. What are you even doing in the Dwarven District?
I don't ever know what I'm doing anywhere I go.
These are primes. They have no idea what you are. All right. Loken, what would you like to be doing?
I don't have a good situation in any direction. I should have intervened before the guards got to him, but now I guess I'll just be.
Do you want to rush in? Is that something your character would do? Take initiative and dive in?
probably.
Okay. So you get to his side, hands on his shoulders, before the guards are there with their irons for his wrists. Their intention is still to arrest him for vandalism and disorderly conduct. Much of what you see here does remind you of the Undercity that you came from.
I mean, they haven't gotten to me yet, right?
Apparently not. Apparently Loken has rushed into your side, but they're about to get to you.
Oh, well, I can whisper it to him, like, here, hold this, and then hand him my bag, and then go into my laboratory.
What does that mean?
That might freak people out, though.
What does that set of words mean?
Primes understand what that would mean.
He has a bag that he's offering you. But the guards are now upon you. So what do you want to do? What do you want to say to them? Or do you just want to take the bag and see what happens?
I'm going to assume that I ran up to him. My objective was to get kind of between him and the guards, and like I'm now standing in between him and the guards.
That works
if
too.
he chooses to do an action in this scenario before I can talk to the guards, if he's going to throw a bag at me, then I'll take it. But if not, then I was just going to talk to the guards.
Well, no, if I'm in between, if he's in between us, then I'll just use that opportunity to go into the laboratory.
Okay. So you get in between. He holds up a bag, puts it on the ground, and then dives into it.
So I just ran in between, kind of sneered at him as I did it, and then like went into the guards and like kind of waved my hands and said, "Let me apologize for my friend. Like we get way too much to drink down here." Obviously, him a lot more than me.
When you turn back around to gesture to your friend, and they kind of lean to the side to look around you to see, he's not there. There's just his bag lying on the ground. Looks like your friend's run off. You better go find him. Make sure he doesn't get up to any more trouble. I see him again on this street. I'm going to put him in irons. I think he needs a good night to sleep it off.
You got it. I'll be after him and find him quick.
All right. They turn around and start heading out. The proprietor says, "What about the damage to my establishment?" Gesturing to the slight nick on the tile of the floor caused by the bottle impact. Which is, like, presently being swept away by one of his servants anyway. The guards have no sympathy for this man's barely at all damaged bar and the small amount of trash he has to clean up. So they're just walking on. They have better things to do with their time. All right, first max cause disaster avoided.
Yay!
Meanwhile, the champions and their dwarven friend are ready to start plotting the destruction of some tunnels. So there are 5 tunnels in total being made. All of them are starting in the general vicinity of this area, but are all going at slightly different angles to reach different cities. There also seems to be something of an effort to start building proper roads leading to the tunnels. This would make sense, as you don't necessarily want your armies getting lost in the tunnels of some dwarven mining mess.
Yeah, you're savvy.
So where are we right now? We're on our way to the intersections, or we found?
You found them. So you found the intersections, you know where the tunnels are, it's time to make a plan. Now, one thing that might concern you, Ed, is that they are most likely using forced dwarven labor to get the tunnels built, meaning collapsing the tunnels could cause some of those laborers to be killed. I don't think any of you care about killing the Imperials that are doing the forcing of the labor, but yeah, it's up to you guys what you want to do about the laborers themselves.
I'll say, yeah, based on the footsteps, do you guys have any idea of, in each tunnel, what the kind of ratio of, like heavy dwarven footfall versus, human Imperials?
I mean, I could do like, are we further in now? Would I be able to like isolate better information?
If you would like to use your magic, you can tax your you can tax your stamina by 1 to just go check. Use your magic to check. Spy on them through the walls, basically.
Well, the first question we got to ask ourselves, is how far is the cities from each other, so we can know exactly which tunnels to start first, because some cities are farther away, so then we can delay on those ones.
I tax my stamina and get whatever information we possibly want.
Okay. So these tunnels looks like they started recently, like maybe a day or two ago. So it seems like, from what you can tell, the Empire did not originally intend to use this as an incursion method. They started attempting it when the initial attempts to take out leadership at the Star Moot did not result in an immediate sweep of all of the coastal nations. So this is Plan B being implemented. That said, dwarves are very, very good at this sort of thing, but being as it's forced labor, they're not putting their all into it. They're not really giving 100%. Each tunnel has 5 dwarves being supervised by 2 human Imperial engineers. There are also 2 armed guards along with those Imperial engineers. And there is one guy that's just sort of moving between the tunnels as an administrator, making sure that each of the tunnels is keeping up. The administrator could be at any of the 5 at any point in time. At the moment, you know which one he's at, but he doesn't stay for long. He's just checking progress, making notes on his ledger, and proceeding onward. The guards are there to stab people and to be generally a threat for the dwarves to keep working. And the engineers are there to make sure the dwarves aren't faking them out and going in a wrong direction. None of the humans are doing any actual work. But the 5 dwarves in each tunnel are digging at, about probably half the speed they're capable of. Just fast enough that the humans don't whip them for slacking or dock their pay. And
are all the humans Imperial?
Yes. Except for the ones that you brought with you. But there's only 4 of those right now.
Did we have a count on a general count on the humans?
Yeah.
It was was that per tunnel?
That's per tunnel. There are 5 tunnels. Each tunnel has 5 dwarves, 2 human soldiers, 2 human engineers. And in addition to that, there is one guy that's not associated with any tunnel. He's just walking between them, taking notes.
Okay, I wasn't sure if there was an administrator for each one.
And if we observe, how often does the administrator move between tunnels?
He appears to stay long enough to take some short measurements, chat with the engineers for maybe a minute or 2, and then proceed onward.
Okay, and at some points he's outside all the tunnels entirely, right?
Correct. As he traverses between them.
I'll say, would anyone object to me killing him when he's outside and assuming his identity?
The Earth Mover is like, well, where I come from, killing is not a good. No, it's fine. Yeah, just murder him.
I'm more hung up on the second part of his sentence. I would think my suggestion is just whatever tunnel he leaves, when he enters another, we enter that tunnel. I mean, I can do that. Seems like all we got to do is take out the guards in each one.
My suggestion is I take one of the humans and then I put my face through his face.
It's good. Do it with the ones with swords.
Well, yes.
I have seen this tactic in my tribe. It is very effective.
That is why I brought diplomacy as a poetic cutlass. It is very good for these situations.
So I'd kind of just like I'd like to take a space, kind of off in a corner in the dark near where all the tunnels start. And when the administrator next comes by, I'd like to just kind of emerge from the shadows and stab him in the throat.
Okay.
Actually, the throat might be bloody. I'd like to stab him in the ribs. Cover his mouth, stab him in the ribs. Do the whole, sleep now
Well,
thing.
if you cut the throat, they can't really scream. They just like gurgle.
This seems like agility and either stealth, crime, or melee, depending on the style you want to go about it.
I would like to go with stealth.
Are you good at that?
I am very good at that.
Okay, I just make sure. So I was be like, do you want me to hold them for you?
You are very good at that.
Wow. You're okay.
Yeah, so it basically is that narratable as a success?
Yes, that is narratable as a partial success. You don't have enough to kill him, but you do have enough to remain silent and to silence him effectively. He's going to fight back, but your hand is over his mouth and you basically have him grappled from behind. So repeated stabbing is definitely in his future.
So I use the pips for my cloak of stealth. Could I also use the pips for my hunter's dagger?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I guess I can add another 6 pips to that, but that would only create one more success.
Normally I would not, because normally you're supposed to only use one item, but your Cloak of Stealth is a blatantly magical item, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's enchanted by the druids. All right, so yeah, basically as he comes out, I've just kind of been sitting over in the corner, like just kind of basically, under my cloak of stealth, just waiting. And then as he walks by, I just kind of slip behind him and just kind of jab my I put my hand over his mouth and then just kind of jab the dagger like into kind of the back of his neck. With the goal, I kind of want to sever his spine.
He's making a gurgling noise, and it's definitely rough on him. He's going to try and struggle against you.
Okay.
In trying to basically elbow you, he manages to deliver a pair of taxes to you. He's just flailing. He's not a melee combatant, but he is filled with adrenaline as he desperately struggles for his life.
All right, I'm going to just take those to my resist. Like I'm not really don't feel too inclined to try to get out of the way of him. I'll just take him. And then yeah, I'll make another go at it this time. Basically, I don't want too much blood on the front of his uniform. So So yeah, I'm gonna just kind of jam into the back of his ribs. Basically just try to kill him on the spot. Or assuming I can do that now, unless everyone else wants to go do whatever they're going to do.
You guys can assist if you want to. It does look like he's got the situation pretty much under control, but yeah, how much this guy bleeds on his uniform may be a factor.
I don't know. I mean, that was going to help with body disposal.
Yeah, it seems like a good opportunity to head down tunnels.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, I just made my second attack on him.
All right, and that you may narrate a death. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's probably not a whole lot. I try to. Yeah, I try to just kind of stab him in the ribs, just kind of distract his attention away, and really kind of twist the knife a little bit, and then just kind of shove his head just shove him to the ground, kind of kick him in the back of the neck to make sure his neck's broken, and then I start taking his clothes.
All right. There is a fair amount of blood on the clothes. It seemed a little unavoidable since your first strike was his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that to my advantage.
All right. So you got the clothes on. Meanwhile, some other people went down a tunnel. Is that correct?
I don't know if anybody was going to come with me. I was going to start running down one, the one he just came out of.
I will also follow behind him with robust and my sword out.
I reach onto my back and pull off what you can't really tell whether it's a hammer or pliers. You think it might be both, and it's about the size of me. It looks roughly like this. If this was prepared for war.
Did we stealthily kill this guy so that we could run full speed and announce ourselves down the tunnel?
Well, there's 4 tunnels. I figure he'll do something with one of the other ones. I can run without making noise anyway, so I would try to avoid getting one that you guys got, but it's fine if you follow.
I'm not 100% sure where that JPEG file is supposed to be.
I'm not 100% sure why it didn't just upload. There we go.
Ah, there we go.
Are those wire cutters?
But it's about like 4 feet long.
Oh.
That's frightening looking.
It's just better to stay together, mon ami. Then we can get rid of the body, get rid of the Empire faster.
Well, I was going to say, I can get rid of this body pretty easily. Just pull it into the ground. With a stone or whatever.
I do enjoy how everything you have is part hammer.
Does this dwarf have nail vision?
The humans design weapons around slashing and piercing and bludgeoning, but they forget the pinching. Crush a man's skull. Leverage is a beautiful thing.
All right, the 3 of you come around a corner to see some engineers just sort of checking notes. There's an hourglass resting up against a carved shelf in the tunnel. The tunnel is a very precise width. It is a very precise height. It is moving at a very precise angle and inclination, and they have their instruments to verify that. Everything leading up to the tunnel thus far has been nice, smooth walls, too. Everything looks very well carved, fairly luxurious. The hourglass appears to be mostly full. It's going to be a while before it runs down. Like they maybe just now recently turned it over. You can either make stealth checks or listen to the guard say, "Who's there?"
I shall make a stealth
Am I
check.
far enough ahead of them? Since I just started running.
Yep.
So is there's 2 guards?
2 guards, 2 engineers, and 5 dwarves. The dwarves have a
I'm
piece of
not-
scaffolding set up that they're kind of climbing up as they chip away at the wall in very precise angles.
Okay, and these tunnels are like straight, right?
Yes. So it's a pretty far distance up the tunnel from the point where it begins, basically. So you come around a corner where the tunnel begins, and you can see up the tunnel, to where their lights are, where they're working.
Okay. Are they really far away, or are they like within reasonable sight?
They're within reasonable sight.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot one of the guards right away.
They only started working on the tunnel yesterday, so yeah.
Perfect. I should be the first round around the corner, and I just want to shoot one of the guards. I shouldn't make any noise doing this. I don't think I have to tax anything for silent running, just based on natural movement. It says like if I'm making exceptional noises, exceptional circumstances, I can tax for it if I.
Yeah, it just means that I think the default is just you can't get like a higher difficulty penalty because you're moving too fast.
You are always considered moving silently in normal circumstances unless you specifically intend to make noise. In exceptional circumstances, you may spend a stealth to automatically succeed at moving quietly. But these are not exceptional circumstances. So go ahead and make your shot.
That's what I figured.
And we'll get the Skyrim moment of somebody with an arrow through their eye saying, "Who's there?" It must have been the wind.
Must have been the wind.
Somebody's prowling.
I do like it when the Skyrim guards are just like, yeah, it must have been nothing. As he walks past his friend, who's like pinned to a column with an arrow through his eye.
Bloody Stephen sleeping on the job on against the pillar.
Far Cry was the worst though, because like you could hear them talking and like you would literally just rain sniper fire into a camp, and there would be like their jeep would explode and be like, and after like 5 minutes, they're just like, yeah, it must have been nothing. Yeah.
All right, 8 successes for that.
All right, so you've there is now one living guard who is on high alert. He turns and raises his shield. You'll doubt you'll get another shot that's that easy again.
That's okay. I assume people are very quickly going to be coming around the corner, so he's going to see the.
I'm gonna open my pliers and I'm gonna pinch his shield, and then I'm gonna beat him to death with it. That's my plan.
All
Like
right.
honestly, as soon as I have an opportunity, I'm going to run and go to the next.
Yeah, like if I turn around the corner and there's a dwarf and taking down the other guard, and one of the guards is dead, I'm just gonna looks like this. These you got these ones.
Are you even going to stay to verify your shot, or are you just going to loose the arrow and leave?
Yeah, like that. Like I got to the edge, looked up, saw him, fired, saw the people behind me coming, and just ran.
Okay, so you're gone before the arrow even hits him.
Yeah.
All right. You guys come around the corner to see a body sliding down the slope towards you with an arrow sticking out of its eye socket. At the top of the slope is a guard holding up his shield, saying, "Who's there?" He knows it was not the wind. He's not an idiot. The wind doesn't fire arrows through your friend's eye sockets. The engineers are in a panic. They have no idea what's going on. They weren't even paying attention. The dwarves are still just working merrily. Whatever's going on behind them is not their problem.
I guess I'll be like, I'll appear out of the undead visage, just like, it is I. Get my own name. It is I, First Officer Jacques. I have come to commandeer your dwarves and your life. Now on guard, as I charge him with my rapier.
As you raise your voice, you begin to notice that the dwarves have apparently made this hallway to have perfect acoustics.
So it makes me even sound more French.
Yes. All right, so you charge up. And I presume there is a dwarf with pliers charging up beside him. What is the
Yes.
Earth Wizard doing?
I was going to say, since nobody's doing anything with the engineers, and it looks like those two will probably murder that guard pretty easily, I was just going to, like, porcupine earth spikes out from the nearest wall that those guys are at and see if I can't just take them out right there.
Okay. You're trying to take out two of them, so it's a small area effect. You're going to be doing some damage, presumably. This seems like it's kind of a third circle-y thing to do some area damage to some people that are far away from you. So go ahead and make your roll. You need 3 successes. If you get those 3 successes, then you will be doing 3 dice of damage, or 3 successes of damage to them. This is an Earth Mage's version of Fireball. Only it's improvisational, of course. Okay, so you want to roll your potential for casting spells.
Oh, is it just like 5 or whatever I have it at?
Until you spend the points to raise your potential to 6 or more. Yeah.
I tried doing that when I had like 80 experience. That's going to be impossible.
It is expensive, yes. I gave 90 experience because I knew that if I gave you 91 experience, you could take it all the way to 6.
Yay!
There you go. You succeed, and yeah, spikes come out, badly injuring the and pretty much pinning in place the engineers. They're going to have some trouble. They're going to have to dig themselves out in a bit. All right. Dwarf and Undead Pirate. Make your rolls on this guy. He's lowered his shield. He's got a sword out. He's holding the sword backhanded. And looks like he's actually trained for tunnel fighting.
I'm gonna aim for his sword arm, roughly around just below the elbow.
And I shall be using my shoulder to bounce off his shield so I can go around him, and I'm going to slash him in the back with my diplomacy.
Tyce, go ahead and make your roll there. Ed's got 5 successes on this guy.
Some life-saving pips. Or life-ending pips.
Yeah.
He manages to defensively mitigate 4 points of the oncoming damage, but the remaining 7 points strike him true. This is a bad hit. He's badly wounded by this. Not out, he is a soldier, but it hurt. you guys can narrate exactly what you do to this poor man, short of killing him.
So I'm not really trying to hurt him just yet. I intend to do that later. But I am trying. Basically, I take my pinchers out and grab him just below the elbow on his sword arm. I'm trying to basically disable his attack. And I put a bit of vice pressure on his arm. He should be relatively aware that. So basically, I have a choice at this point, and the choice is whether to basically just sever his arm or to jerk him around a little bit and throw him off balance. And I choose not to sever his arm yet, but I have him grappled.
And I roll around to his backside, and I leave a nice little fresh mark on his back.
All right. Being thusly tossed around, he's unable to get his shield in position to deflect your blow. He does manage to fight off a little bit of the pressure coming from the dwarf. It looks like he's decided with his next action, he just is going to straight up attack with his shield, since he can't do anything with his sword arm. So, and he's going to try and pound you with his shield. You can let go of the sword arm and try and protect yourself, or you can just hold on and keep on thrashing him.
I'm gonna hold on. If I take a significant amount of damage from this, my next action is gonna be to just take that arm out of the picture. If he does try and bash me with his shield, though, I'm gonna bash it back with my face. It's not gonna do anything, but it's just in defiance.
So he has a 4 dice condition coming at you.
I'm going to spend some. I'm going to spend some stamina. I'm going to take one for the team as I sort of like twirl around and just like to let the dwarf continue to take the pressure. I'm just going to take one to the face and be like, you got another one for me?
Nice.
I don't currently have any stats, but I assume I can take 4 dice, either to my armor or to my face. So
yeah, let's assume you have say like 4 composure, 12 health.
Okay, yeah, and some resist or something. So I'll take it to my resist, and I'll assume I have like no resist left. And then like
well, you don't
how
have to
much are you
take
taking
anything
for the team? Oh, never. Well, I'll take none of it. I will smash his shield and put a dent in it with my face.
Because yeah, Tice
my
did
hammer
the
face.
take one for the team.
Yeah, I just really wanted to take one for the team. It looks like a good opportunity.
Yeah, that was good. So it's Tice, you have the 4-point condition coming at you now, but yeah.
I'll take it to my health.
Miles, you have the guy's uniform on. I assume you're heading to a different tunnel. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of quickly wrap my bow and a couple arrows in my cloak of stealth, so it's not immediately apparent that I'm carrying it. And then I'm just gonna go running down the tunnel up toward the guards. I'm just gonna I'm trying to feign that I'm badly hurt, which is hopefully aided by the blood. And I'm just when I'm in general proximity to them, I'm just gonna shout, guards, quickly to one of the other to the other bit. I'm going to direct them to the tunnel that the rest of the party went down. I'm saying, guards, quickly that way, to that tunnel. There's an insurgency. You're needed there.
The guards react immediately.
Yeah, and then like as they start to pass, I'm going to fall to the ground, as if I'm like winded and in pain. So that basically they definitely don't see my face and don't see them carrying something, but do see blood all over the back of my.
All right, make a performance check because they might recognize that you have the wrong voice. But based on the gurgles you heard, maybe you can interpret something. Probably a performance plus empathy. Probably, maybe. I don't know.
Cool. All right, I can do that.
One of them believes you. The other one stops to check. You do hear a cry from up the tunnel from the engineers. One of them says, "What about us?" As in, like, why are you taking our guards away? That we need their protection.
Well, all right. The one that stops, I'd like to try to cut his. I'd like to basically hamstring him.
Okay. He's reaching down to help you up, so that's that's a good spot to do it in.
If he's reaching down to help me up, then I should probably just go directly for his throat.
All
right. So yeah, I'll attempt to do that.
Stealth is no longer a factor here. This is melee.
Yeah. This is gonna be pure melee.
Jeez. All right. Well, he's dead.
All right. Cool. And hopefully that happened quick enough that I can get a clean shot at the back of the other guy with my bow.
The other guy is still heading away from you. He hasn't noticed.
Cool.
But the engineers sure have. And one's, "What the hell?" And shortly after that, a dwarven pickaxe goes through the back of his skull.
I see. I was worried I was going to have to convince them to kill the engineers, but apparently not.
This is why I said I don't think we have to worry about the engineers when I ran away.
All right. So yeah, if especially if the engineer's being taken care of, I'm gonna pull my bow out from where it's hidden in my cloak, and I'm going to try to dispose of the other guard.
All right. We'll do that next turn. So, Max, you still have an action. The engineers are still struggling and bleeding from the various spikes you put through them. Also, the soldier is standing. He looks like he's about to be torn in half by a dwarf. By your dwarf friend.
I mean, I don't know. They really need to. I mean, those other engineers are the engineers are badly wounded. I don't know that I really need to do much else.
The dwarven work crew seems to have stopped work. They're waiting to see who's going to win. They obviously can't, risk attacking the Imperials if it looks like the Imperials might win the fight. It doesn't look that way to you, but they've been under Imperial rule for a while.
I mean, like I said, regardless of what they do, I don't think that those two could do anything. Can I use perception and investigation and see if there's anything of note in here or any communication devices or anything like that?
There is an hourglass.
So that's like the only item of interest.
Yes.
Can I feel if it's magical?
You do not feel any specific magics coming off of it that you're familiar with.
Well, familiar with.
It does have sand in it. You can totally sense the earth energy in that, but you would sense that in any source of sand.
Yeah, I don't know that I need to do anything else. Also, did you add taxes thingamajig after I did that last?
Yeah,
thing?
you weren't keeping track of your stamina
I
expenditures.
didn't think I needed to.
Yeah, every time you cast a spell. The circle of the spell is taxed to your stamina.
Well, I'm definitely not going to use that up to just kill some dudes that are on their deathbed.
When you run out of
Alright.
stamina, you can start using endurance if you want to. I mean, you don't have to wait till you run out of stamina. That's probably a good idea.
Yeah. No, I'm just gonna take the hourglass. Like, walk away from the guys. Just gonna steal it. Seems interesting.
All right, you have one quality 2 hourglass.
Yay.
You never know when it might come in handy.
Yep.
Alrighty. I believe it's time for a dwarf to roll to see if you can pry this man's arm off.
Yep.
Pretty sure I know how it's going to go, but we'll find out. Randomness is beautiful. Yeah, no, there goes his arm.
All right, so I'm just gonna tear his arm off, and then I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna start waggling it around, being like, and then I'm gonna say, "Where'd your arm go? Where'd your arm go? Stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself!"
It's at this point that the dwarven mining crew becomes sufficiently convinced you guys are winning this confrontation to turn on their engineers and finish them off.
Especially since I felt no need to like deal with them myself. Like that, we're good.
Feist, you come around out of that cave to see a guard running directly towards you. He is as shocked as you are to see you. He expected a dwarven insurrection. In fact, he's kind of hoping you're on his team. In the distance, you do see Felwyn aiming a bow at him.
I can see Felwyn.
You can see Felwyn aiming a bow at this guy's head from a distance. There's a dead guard at his feet. This guy's running to you, hoping that you'll help him with whatever this insurrection is he's heard about. He hasn't even looked behind him to see Felwyn.
Okay, so I'll see since I see Felwyn or whatever, and then I'll immediately start upturning another.
You're gonna
Like-
go to a different one?
Yeah, as soon as I'll see him, like I'm running toward him. I see someone. Like whatever, just slightly look up to see past him, and I'll see Felwyn, and then I'll immediately turn in a different direction and start running up that tunnel.
Okay. So you head in a different direction. Felwyn, you have your shot. The guy is shouting at the Feist says, "Hey, wait! Where's the insurrection?"
All right, at that point, I shoot him in the back of the head.
Is that your roll there?
Yeah, that's my marksmanship roll. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he has a new nose made out of arrowhead.
All right, and then I want to turn and see if they've taken care of the other engineer yet. I suspect they have.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll turn to the first one who really took the initiative and pickaxed the engineer, and I'll say, you show initiative. You really hate them. I'll say, I hate them too. Well, your friend's word reached us, and they tried to kill our king. So we're here to liberate you and.
They've never seen a human like you at all. They don't know what to make of you, but you're speaking their kind of language at the moment, which is killing Imperials. They're still running with some fear and adrenaline. This wasn't their plan. They kind of thought that they'd just go to work. This was another day slaving away. Now that they're in the thick of it, they're a little excited, but they're also a little terrified that there's going to be consequences later. and they're not entirely sure who you are. They're kind of vaguely aware there are other nations out there, but yeah.
Cool. Can I friends Romans countrymen them?
Yes.
All right, I will friends Romans countrymen them.
Narrate your speech.
Yeah, I'll say we your friends they reached us and they brought us back to because we are here to destroy your enemies, and we're here to free you from slavery. Debt slavery is slavery, and we do not believe in it. So if you agree, I believe you should come with us.
Says I heard rumors about a year back of a mining team disappearing. Didn't know they were going for help. Thought they just disappeared into the caverns. We're glad for your help, sir, and we'll help you any way we can. So you now have 5 dwarven miners. They're not soldiers, but they are experts at tunnel making and unmaking.
All right, I'll say start by sabotaging this tunnel. I'm gonna go kill some more guards.
All right, so they get to work on the tunnel. Piece by piece, the efforts continue much as they did that way. You guys enter into the halls one by one, snipe a guy, and then the melee crew comes in and starts rending people limb from limb. We're going to just make a sort of general roll here. As there's little bumps and scratches along the way. Or maybe there are not. Okay, so never mind. You guys cleared out without incident.
Just completely steamrolled them.
Yeah. As you gain more dwarven followers, it becomes progressively easier for you to take these guys out without incident. And so you clean them. And by the time you come back, your dwarven crew they've collapsed the tunnel, but they're not happy about it.
So you seem upset. Well, why is that?
Because this is going to be too easy to clear out and restart. So if we really want to stop them from this, we need to collapse this whole cave network.
All right, you're speaking my language. Let's do it.
Hey, I have an idea. If we are able to maybe per se get your friends to rally with us, instead of collapsing the temples, we might be able to change the directory of the tunnels so that they're outside of our cities. Maybe they can aid us in the combat.
He scratches his head and goes, I mean, I don't think so. Any engineer who knows his tracking will know that the directions are wrong. We'll happily go up and join your friends, but if we leave this tunnel open, then their armies will follow. Yeah, so the dwarves are basically expressing that what they want to do is they want to just make this entire region of caves inaccessible by hitting up some major pillars and bringing half the mountain down. This will mean you guys won't be able to go back home this route. But they can do it from the other side so that they can at least get back up to safety after they collapse it. There's 25 dwarves in their team, and they know what to do.
I just like the thought of like us showing up and like murdering the people that were holding them captive, making them do all that work, and then they're like, "Yay, we're free! Yeah, okay. Now continue working in the same direction you were going, but for us." It's like, yeah.
I'm reminded of that Futurama episode with the elves at Santa's workshop. We will gladly work for nothing, which is good because we don't intend to pay.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to point him in the direction of the tunnel that we came down through, and just say, that tunnel will lead you directly to freedom.
Wait, I assume they're gonna close that off too. That's what you were saying.
If they
Okay.
execute their plan, it will close off all of the tunnels, including the ones you guys came down. Now they'll be able to escape back up through it to safety, which they kind of need to do, because if they come back out of this without their guard, they'll be arrested and probably executed. But yeah, you guys have an escape tunnel they can use, and so with your permission, they'll use it and collapse all hope of ever using this area to dig again.
Gotcha.
They will fill it with silt and shale, and it will just be a nightmare to try and make tunnels through if they collapse things the way they want to.
All right, so that sounds like a good idea then.
It protects the cities. I think it's a good idea.
What happens to that city or whatever where all the gambling's going on?
They'll notice some noise when our explosives go off, but yeah.
Should be good for extra distractions or whatever
Right.
we're doing then.
Are they trapped, or is there like other ways out that way?
Oh no, there's lots of other roads.
Oh, okay.
There's roads to the capital, of course, city number 1, and then there's other roads leading to cities 7 in one direction and 8 in the other.
Yeah, screw it. Bring it down.
Is anyone against it? Okay, I'm gonna pull one of the. Or I'm gonna. I don't want anybody to hear me say this, so I'm gonna get to a section of dwarves that are far away, and I'm gonna give them all the information they need to get. Basically back up to where our tunnel is, but just like to bring word back to those dwarves to let them know like what's happening and make sure that they're aware, and so they'll like know how to find my city, if anything. Because if they take that exact tunnel out, they should technically come out like back on land.
Yeah.
They won't be directly connected to my city. So I'll tell them how to basically run into one of my scout patrols.
Okay.
So that they will regroup with those dwarves and then take the information to them so that they know how to do it. But I don't want anybody else to hear me say that because nobody knows.
Gather up the other hourglasses from the other tunnels that we steamrolled and whatever.
Yes, you now have 5 hourglasses.
Yay!
We can keep time.
Yes! Surprisingly accurately.
Unless you mess with it, because I assume you can control the sand in the hourglasses.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm gonna do.
Meanwhile, finally making their way out of the gambling district, the squires come upon a main thoroughfare. Carts are traveling as they head towards sort of a crossroads market. It looks like this market is primarily being used as an organizational location for shipping goods to imperial locations. There doesn't appear to be a lot of direct commerce. This seems more like a government-run operation where they're counting up the materials against a ledger, awarding gambling chips for those who've done well, and and then shipping it off. Here is also where the counting houses are, where the ledgers are being taken in and out of government offices, flush with paper and abacuses. The real heart of bureaucracy. Most of the people here that are doing paperwork are human. There are a couple dwarves that seem to be like glorified coffee fetchers running about, but yeah, for the most part, it's a human operation. The only other dwarves are the dwarves that are hauling in materials and getting their chips paid out.
If nobody's gonna do anything, am I still in the bag? I guess I'm just getting carried around, huh?
Currently, yes.
I picked it up and I headed back toward the. I've made it look like I was looking for you.
Yeah.
for a
I
minute,
guess I'll
and
just stay
then
there.
I headed back over to the whatever accountants. I don't really know who's with us at the moment.
Yeah, I'll just like I'll saunter over to one of the accounting houses, like over to like one of the side doors, just like sort of like just like do the knock on the door, just put what's that? I had a plan here. And you just like wait for like a little bit of an answer, like a pause, and just I was coming here for some the usual stuff, gotta get my paperwork updated.
All right.
They're like,
Entering the counting house, it's filled with clerks. There is a bored-looking clerk at a desk with a pile of blank papers next to them. They look up as you come in, gesture you over, say, "Which forms do you need?" This is going to be a this is kind of an interesting check here. So you can pursue this through propriety, knowing the correct way of doing things here. You can pursue this through investigation, trying to figure things out, or you can pursue this through scholarship. Scholarship is going to give you the highest difficulty to try and navigate through this. Oh, you also could treat this as a crime and just swipe the papers you need.
Yes, I was thinking of crime, and I was going to just like I was gonna like look at him. It's like, hey there, Jerry. As I like sort of like slip over I pull out my book and I just like slip down the paper of like, it's like I could just burn this if you want, and like it's just like you see Jerry's name signatured on the bottom of it. I'm using my book of my book as pips. As part of this crime.
Okay. Did you forge his name? Is that what you're trying to say? Well, how did his name get onto a contract? Well, what is your goal here? What are you trying to accomplish?
My goal is to get us legitimate papers for my group with legitimate business up top.
Okay, so you're trying basically to steal blank travel papers from this guy so you can fill them out, right? And you want to distract him or intimidate him with your book of contracts?
Yes. Like I'll burn this contract if you if you just look the other way, Jerry.
Okay, you're basically you want to intimidate him or bribe him with burning a contract, but why would he care about the contract? I guess is my question here. Like, what is this contract? Why is his name on it? Why would he give a shit?
I would like to say that Jerry has slipped me a little bit of information before, like to help me with my bosses.
You're looking for somebody you know. Okay, make a connections roll.
Okay. Let's see my connections. Well, that's not going to be the best roll ever.
You've never been down to this part of the city. You don't know who this guy is, and you've never had any previous contact with him.
Okay, then I will not use my book for pips. I'll just I'll basically sort of typically I'll be using crime to Oops, sorry for that. To let's see, crime plus what? Plus cunning.
Okay.
And since this will be a hidden difficulty, right?
Yes.
I will spend an investigation to lower my threshold.
Ooh, clever. Is that the Dr. Watson one?
Oh no, it's a card counter.
Ah, okay. All right, after rattling off a series of confusing requests for conflicting reports and paperwork, by the time you've handed him back everything that he thinks he handed you, you actually have a fairly sizable stack of blank papers with imperial seals on them snuck into your pack. And you step away. They are not yet travel papers, but the correct forgeries could be made if you guys have time and a place to do it in.
Look at those numbers, though. That's a little creepy.
Oh, the 666.
Yeah.
Well, he has conspired with demons previously. That sort of thing's gonna happen. What you gonna do? All right, so he comes out of the house, joining the rest of the party with blank papers. It'll probably take you guys a little bit of effort to turn them into forged documents, forged travel papers for all of your guys. But eventually, you complete the task in a local tavern, and as you begin heading out and getting ready to try and find your party, there is a huge rumble, the sound of an explosion from back the way you came. Dust begins like billowing from that side of the city, covering the commercial and sort of casino district. There's a lot of shaking. It's almost like an earthquake, but it doesn't look like anything in the city is structurally damaged. And eventually the dust settles. It came out of one of the caves, but the city remains unharmed. Your friends, on the other hand, who knows? And that's where we're going to end it tonight. We'll find out if you guys reunite with each other before heading out. Did they survive? Yes, they did. Spoiler alert. But we'll pick up here next week. So don't forget that you are awarding the experience points that you gain from these closing ceremonies to your squires.
Okay. I'd like to go first. Then I'd like to give one to Eslan for basically getting the grip on that one guard, just like with this amazing new weapon that he pulled out of the woodworks. You know, just I like to give one to Miles for basically doing the oh my god we're being attacked, sort of like, you know, like the like basically just as like then one of the guards just runs away as he just like killed one of his friends, and he's like, I'm still clueless. I like to give one to Kite for basically for basically ensuring that like the dwarves will actually reach a party and not accidentally just come onto the surface into an incoming army, which would probably be bad for them. And I'd like to give one to Max for basically accidentally doing accidental distraction that actually worked out. Well, it was because he had planned on doing something, but it accidentally worked out, and he got out for scot-free.
It's the power of chaos. Even when it isn't what it was supposed to be, it can still be what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, you could call it controlled chaos.
Cool. Yeah, I'll do. One to Max for using a bag as a means of escape. Reminds me of a character I had a while back, and it's a fun way to travel. Make everyone else do all the walking. I'll do one to Troy for doing the archer version of cool guys don't look at explosions and actually just like leaving before your arrow hits. Yeah. One to Ed for I'm gonna open my pliers, take his shield, and beat him to death with it. It's a pretty succinct line, and I think it really established what kind of dwarf we're dealing with, and I liked it. And to Tice for sailing a cart. I was just sailing the remnants of a cart down an underground tunnel. Not an environment where you typically think your sailing expertise would come into play, but so it was.
I'll go. Let's see. Ed for smashing your head into the ground as a braking device. Once you knew the brakes were out, that was fantastic start to our hammer friend. Max for immediately when we're trying to figure out what to do between stealth and cause a ruckus. You chose cause a ruckus. Immediately drawing all the attention to us, or at least you, and then just being gone before it even became anything. Miles, this instant messenger thing is really awesome. You're like our little I don't know what to call it. You're just our cell phone. We just need information real quick. So this is kind of awesome. We have that. And then Tice for that start, that together we stand, that made it's always great when you have the high GM role that's like, you guys aren't going to be able to do this, damn it. Moments, and you made that moment possible right at the beginning, so that was fantastic.
Tice, I kind of enjoyed both the effectiveness of the stabbing that your undead pirate likes to do, and also acquiring the papers quite easily. I always get names mixed up, but is it Marlowe? Okay, yeah. I enjoy the fact that you went into a cave of a party that was party destruction and full of bandits and undead pirates, but you still thought, say, hey, I'm gonna kill this guy. Does anybody have any problems with it? Yes, that's completely beyond my moral code. That I enjoyed. And then Kite, the just the great ability of just getting the jump on literally every single tunnel that you could. That was very enjoyable. Just these guys will never know. Okay, now I'm gone. Now I gotta go kill another one. Distant and Echelon can contest Tice a little bit. If you think that was me abusing a bag of holding, you hadn't seen shit yet. I've done crazy shit with those things.
Yeah, I'll give one to Max specifically for spending the session in a bag and doing one of the least offensive things I've seen him do with a bag of holding. Troy for just sort of continuing your strategy of shoot first and ask questions never. And then Miles, you have one of the interesting things where you can basically like get information and communicate more or less whenever you want, and like I imagine, yeah, if you ever have the opportunity to get some Ratatakis, I think you're gonna have a really good time. I hope that there are no Ratatakis in in this, but you know they happen sometimes. Ties for naming your sword diplomacy. I thought that was good, or at least calling your sword diplomacy. Yeah, I think that's it. No bugs in the bag.
Or blood.
Yeah, none of that. None of that. That's just.
All right. Did everybody get a chance there? Cool. Don't forget to record those experience points on your Squire's character sheet, or in your case, Ed, your planner, and which should, I believe, bring everybody up to 8 experience points earned for those little characters.
Indeed.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't really do anything with the Earth Mover guy last time, but my Alchemist has 4 more from last week.
I put those 4 on there for you because you didn't do it last time. So you should now be up to 8 after the ones they just gave you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will see most of you on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I think we're going. Is the ordinary? Is that the plan?
Yeah, I guess it's all right. I should be around on Saturday, I think.
I left my credit card there 2 weeks ago, so they still have it.
Cool. Still got a tap.
I want to go. Yeah.
Okay, well, you guys have a good night.
All right. Have a good night.
All right.
Yeah, have a good one.